Beyond the baby bump, Amy Slaton's new chapter, Brian's embrace, and the lingering question of Michael. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The familiar chime of a social media notification cut through the digital noise. For dedicated followers of TLC's 1000 LB Sisters, it wasn't just another post. It was an announcement heralding a seismic shift in the life of Amy Slaton Halterman. There she was, Amy, radiant yet exhausted in a hospital bed, cradling a tiny, swaddled bundle against her chest. The caption, bursting with emojis and relief, confirmed it. Amy had welcomed her third son, a healthy baby boy named Lucas. But the name beside her in the celebratory photos wasn't the one viewers had come to associate with her journey through motherhood. It wasn't Michael Halterman, her ex-husband and the father of her two older sons, Gage and Glenn. It was Brian, her devoted boyfriend, beaming with pride and protective affection. The arrival of Lucas wasn't just a new baby. It was the undeniable dawn of Amy's after-Michael era, casting a long, complex shadow over the unresolved question, does Michael Halterman still see his sons? From fairy tale to fracture, the Michael and Amy saga. To understand the weight of Lucas's arrival and the questions surrounding Michael, we must rewind. Amy and Michael's relationship was a cornerstone of the show's early seasons. Their dynamic, often portrayed as simple and devoted, captivated viewers. Michael was Amy's steadfast caretaker during her darkest, heaviest days. He pushed her wheelchair, supported her through her first weight loss surgery, and stood by her as she dared to dream of a life beyond her physical limitations. Their wedding, a chaotic yet heartfelt affair, felt like a triumph. The births of Gage in 2020 and Glenn in 2022 were portrayed as miracles, hard-won victories against the odds of their health struggles and Amy's pros. But cracks began to show. Viewers witnessed escalating tension. Accusations flew, Amy feeling overwhelmed with childcare while Michael seemed disengaged, Michael feeling criticized and unappreciated. Amy voiced concerns about Michael's lack of initiative, his video game habits, and his perceived emotional distance. Michael, often quieter on camera, appeared increasingly sullen and defensive. The pressure cooker of reality TV fame, financial strain, the relentless demands of parenting two toddlers, and the immense personal growth Amy experienced post-surgery created irreconcilable differences. The fairy tale unraveled publicly. By late 2022 and early 2023, separation was imminent. The divorce, finalized in March 2023, was messy, played out in headlines and social media sniping. Allegations surfaced, Amy claiming Michael refused to work or help, Michael claiming Amy was difficult and controlling. The most devastating aspect, however, was the uncertainty surrounding the children. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The custody conundrum, a public mystery. Unlike the joyous, documented arrivals of Gage and Glenn, the details of Michael's involvement post-divorce became shrouded in ambiguity. Court documents revealed a temporary custody agreement granting Amy primary physical custody, with Michael receiving visitation. But the specifics, frequency, duration, conditions, remained private. This vacuum was filled with speculation fueled by Amy's social media activity and Michael's conspicuous absence. Amy's narrative, Amy consistently painted a picture of being the primary, often sole, caregiver. She shared countless moments with Gage and Glenn, park visits, meals, bedtime routines, holidays. Brian featured prominently in these scenes, depicted as an active and involved figure. Amy occasionally made pointed comments implying Michael's absence or unreliability, though rarely provided concrete, ongoing details. Her focus shifted visibly towards building a new life with Brian and her children. Michael's silence, Michael, never as active on social media, became virtually invisible online regarding his sons. He stopped appearing on the show after the separation storyline. His rare public comments were typically in response to Amy's accusations, often through tabloid interviews, defending himself or refuting her claims, but offering little insight into his actual relationship with Gage and Glenn. He maintained his visitation rights were being upheld, but provided no evidence or details. The show's portrayal, Season 6 of 1000 LB Sisters, heavily featured Amy's pregnancy with Lucas, her struggles as a single mom of two toddlers, and her blossoming relationship with Brian. Michael was largely absent, referenced only in the context of the past conflict and the ongoing custody/visitation discussions, portrayed as a point of stress and contention for Amy. The narrative strongly suggested limited involvement on his part, aligning with Amy's public stance. Enter Brian, the steadfast partner. Brian emerged as a stabilizing force during Amy's tumultuous divorce and challenging third pregnancy. Their relationship developed relatively quickly but appeared grounded in mutual support. Fans witnessed Brian stepping into a significant role. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Practical support, helping Amy with Gage and Glenn, assisting with household chores, driving her to appointments, and providing physical help as her pregnancy progressed. Emotional anchor, offering Amy encouragement, patience, and a listening ear through the stress of the divorce, co-parenting disputes, and the anxieties of another high-risk pregnancy. Paternal presence, Brian was consistently shown interacting warmly and playfully with Gage and Glenn. He wasn't trying to replace Michael, but he was becoming a reliable, caring adult figure in their daily lives. The arrival of Lucas cemented Brian's place within the family unit. Photos and videos showed him tenderly holding the newborn, supporting Amy in the hospital, and interacting with his stepsons alongside their new brother. He embraced the role with apparent dedication. Amy's captions overflowed with gratitude for Brian's support, dubbing him a great dad to all three boys. This new dynamic, Amy, Brian, Gage, Glenn, and baby Lucas, presented a stark contrast to the fractured family portrait that included Michael. The unanswered question, does Michael still see his sons? This is the persistent, aching question echoing through fan forums and comment sections. Based on available public information and the narrative presented. 1. Legal visitation likely exists. The court order granting Michael visitation rights suggests there is a legally mandated structure in place. It's improbable that this right was completely terminated without significant cause becoming public knowledge. 2. Frequency and consistency are unclear. This is the crux of the mystery. How often does Michael exercise his visitation? Is it regular and reliable, or sporadic and inconsistent? Amy's portrayal strongly implies the latter. Her social media shows her constantly with the children during times Michael would presumably have them if visitation was frequent, weekends, holidays. Her expressed frustrations about lack of support point towards minimal involvement. 3. The why remains speculative. Reasons for potential limited involvement are complex and private. Personal choice, Michael may be struggling emotionally with the divorce, feeling overwhelmed, or prioritizing other aspects of his life. Logistical challenges, distance, work schedules, or lack of resources could be factors, though less likely to be absolute barriers given the legal framework. Conflict with Amy. High-conflict co-parenting dynamics can make visitation stressful and discouraging for both parents. Communication breakdowns might hinder arrangements. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Personal struggles, unseen issues related to mental health or other personal challenges could be impacting his ability to engage consistently. 4. Michael's claims versus Amy's reality. Michael has asserted he sees his children and that Amy misrepresents the situation. However, the observable evidence, Amy's constant presence with the kids, Brian's increasing role, Michael's absence from their documented lives, and the lack of any counter-narrative showing regular involvement, heavily leans towards Amy's version reflecting the predominant reality for Gage and Glenn. The impact on Gage and Glenn, the silent story. Amidst the adult drama, the well-being of Gage, now 4, and Glenn, now 2, is paramount. Young children thrive on consistency, security, and loving relationships. The potential absence or inconsistency of their biological father creates a void. Attachment and security. Young children form crucial attachments. An inconsistent or absent parent can lead to confusion, anxiety, and difficulty forming secure relationships later in life. Understanding family structure, navigating a divorce, a new baby, a stepfather figure, and an absent biological father is incredibly complex for toddlers. They lack the cognitive tools to understand why daddy isn't around much, even if another caring adult, Brian, is present. Long-term emotional effects. feelings of abandonment, rejection, or confusion about their father's love can have lasting impacts, potentially affecting self-esteem and future relationships. Brian's positive presence is undoubtedly beneficial, providing stability and affection. However, he cannot erase the biological connection or the innate need children have to know and feel loved by both parents. A healthy, consistent relationship with Michael would be ideal, but the current situation, as publicly perceived, suggests this is not their reality. The new chapter. Amy, Brian, and the blended bunch. The birth of Lucas symbolizes a definitive fresh start. Amy has undergone a profound transformation, physically, through her weight loss journey, and emotionally, through the trials of her marriage and divorce. She's emerged as a resilient, albeit often overwhelmed, mother determined to provide a better life for her children. Her relationship with Brian represents hope and partnership, a stark contrast to the dysfunction that characterized her marriage's end. Their family unit is now explicitly blended. Brian is stepfather to Gage and Glenn, Lucas is Brian's biological son and half-brother to the older boys. Navigating this dynamic requires sensitivity, patience, and clear communication, especially concerning Michael's role, however limited. Brian's role, he walks a delicate line. He can be a supportive, loving caregiver without overstepping or attempting to replace Michael. His focus should be on building a positive, trusting relationship with Gage and Glenn based on his own presence and reliability. Forcing a dad title or speaking negatively about Michael would be harmful. Amy's challenge: Amy must manage her understandable frustrations with Michael for the sake of her children. If Michael does seek involvement, facilitating a healthy relationship, within safe boundaries, is crucial, however difficult. She also needs to support Gage and Glenn's feelings about their father, allowing them space to express confusion or sadness without judgment. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The show's lens, Season 7, If It Happens, will undoubtedly focus on this new dynamic, the chaos and joy of three boys under 5, Amy and Brian adjusting to parenthood together, the complexities of blending a family, and the ever-present undercurrent of the Michael situation. How much they choose to reveal about the actual visitation remains to be seen. Conclusion: a baby arrives, questions linger. Amy Slaton has welcomed baby Lucas with Brian, marking a joyous and definitive step into her future. Her social media paints a picture of a loving, albeit chaotic, new family unit where Brian is an integral and supportive partner and father figure. This new chapter is one of hope and rebuilding after immense personal struggle. However, the arrival of this new baby also casts the unresolved situation with Michael Halterman into even sharper relief. While legal visitation rights likely exist, the overwhelming public perception, fueled by Amy's consistent narrative, her visible role as the constant caregiver, Brian's increasing presence, and Michael's own silence and absence, strongly suggests that his involvement with Gage and Glenn is minimal, inconsistent, or potentially non-existent at this point. Michael's counterclaims lack the visible evidence to shift this perception significantly. The true cost of this situation is borne by Gage and Glenn. They are growing up in a reality shaped by adult choices and conflicts, where the presence of their biological father is a question mark rather than a constant. Brian's love and support are valuable, but they don't negate the fundamental need children have for connection with both parents. Lucas enters a world defined by this complex family structure, a world of love from his mother and Brian, the companionship of his brothers, but also the shadow of an absent father figure for his older siblings. Amy Slaton has found love and stability with Brian and embraced motherhood anew with Lucas. But for her older sons, the question, "Does Daddy still see us?" likely echoes in the spaces between the happy photos and the chaotic, loving moments of their new life. Until Michael Halterman consistently steps into the light of their lives, providing visible, tangible proof of his presence and commitment, that question, for the public and perhaps for Gage and Glenn themselves, remains tragically unanswered. The new chapter is bright with promise, but it is written alongside an old story that stubbornly refuses to reach a clear conclusion. The well-being of those two little boys hangs in the balance of that unresolved narrative. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.